Siegfried from the Ring of the Nibelung by Richard Wagner. The synopsis is presented by Opera Inside, the online opera guide. The roles: Wotan, god and ruler of the world. Siegfried, son of Siegmund and Sieglinde. Brunnhilde, Valkyrie and daughter of Wotan. Alberic, Nibelung. Mime, Nibelung and brother of Alberic. Erda, Circe, mother of the Norns. Fafnir, giant who turned into a dragon. Mime is in his cave and forges a sword for Siegfried. Many years ago he took Siegfried in as his foster son, who is now to help him wrest the ring from the dragon Fafnir. Mime is frustrated. His swords cannot withstand the power of the brutal and simple-minded Siegfried. The only sword that could withstand his strength would be Nibelung. But it lies smashed to pieces in a cloth. If he could forge it together, he would get the ring. He tries again. Siegfried enters and examines the sword. He destroys it in one fell swoop, and curses Mime for being a bungler. Siegfried despises the dwarf, who is still a stranger to him. The only thing Mime could still do for him, is to explain who his mother is. When Mime claims that he is both mother and father, Siegfried threatens to use violence. Now Mime tells the story of a woman named Sieglinde, whom he found alone in the forest with a small child. He took her in, but she died soon after. He did not know Siegfried's father, since he had been killed before, and he had only got the debris of his sword. When Siegfried sees the parts of the sword, he forces Mime to forge a new sword out of them and leaves the cave. But Mime is at a loss. Too often has he tried to forge the sword back together. At this moment an unknown wanderer enters. It is Wotan, who secretly follows Siegfried's progress and tries to secure his power through him. He tells Mime that the one who never learned to fear should forge the sword, and that Mime will die by his hand. Now Siegfried enters and Wotan leaves the cave unnoticed. Siegfried rages when he does not see Mime behind the anvil. Mime tells about the prophecy of the wanderer. To save his head he advises him to learn to fear by fighting the dragon Fafnir. Siegfried knows that he needs the sword to survive in the fight against the dragon. When Mime again fails to forge the sword, Siegfried realizes that he himself is the one who has never learned to fear, and must forge the sword himself. He shreds the sword into swaths and reforges it. Fascinated, Mime watches as the ignorant man recreates the sword in the embers. Siegfried asks Mime the name of the sword. It was called Nibelung and so it shall be called again. Now Mime also decides to abuse Siegfried for his own purposes. He plans to stun Siegfried with a poison potion, who will be tired after the fight with the dragon, then kill him and take the ring. While Siegfried triumphantly finishes forging his sword, Mime brews the poisonous potion that will secure him the ring and thus world domination. When the sword is finished, the weapon is so powerful that Siegfried can split the anvil with it. In the nocturnal forest, Alberic waits in front of the night holy, Fafnir's sleeping cave. The ring lies unreachable for him with Fafnir, who turned into a dragon with the help of the magic helmet, and who thinks he is invincible. For a long time Alberic has been waiting for an opportunity to take the ring back. He recognizes a shadow. It is a wanderer in whom Alberic recognizes his old adversary Wotan. Alberic suspects that Wotan wants to steal the ring from him for the second time, but Wotan claims to have only come by as an innocent bystander. He warns Alberic that Mime is on his way to Fafnir with Siegfried, and that his brother is his only rival for the ring, because Siegfried himself does not know about the magic of the ring. He advises Alberic to warn Fafnir in order to get the ring in return. Wotan calls the dragon, and Alberic offers the dragon to ward off the disaster. But Fafnir is not interested and rejects the two. Disappointed, Alberic returns to the cave and Wotan leaves the place with mocking words. Now Siegfried and Mime reach the place. Mime warns him of the poisonous spitting and the deadly blow with the tail and hides in the forest. Siegfried doubts whether he can learn to fear here and plans to thrust the sword into the dragon's heart. While waiting for the dragon, Siegfried ponders what his father and mother looked like. He hears the birds whistling and tries to imitate the sounds with a reed. He does not succeed to create the sounds, and he tries it with his horn. Fafnir is awakened by the sounds. Siegfried speaks to him and wants to learn fear from him. The dragon wants to eat him, and Siegfried pushes Wotan right into his heart. On dying, the dragon turns back into the giant Fafnir, who warns him of the misfortune of the Nibelung horde. The hot blood has scorched Siegfried's hand. As he cools his hand with his mouth and comes in contact with the blood of the dragon, he can suddenly understand bird calls. A bird, who is a mouthpiece of Wotan, advises him to take the ring and the magic helmet. Siegfried goes to the cave to get them. Alberic shows up and stumbles upon Mime. The two fight over the loot. Alberic leaves when Siegfried appears. Meanwhile, Wotan has arrived and watches the scene from a hiding place. Siegfried has learned of Mime's evil intentions from the forest bird. When Mime offers him the potion, Siegfried understands his plan and kills Mime with his sword. Now Siegfried senses a feeling of loneliness and asks the bird to talk to him. The bird tells him about a beautiful woman who sleeps on a rock, protected by fire. She can only be saved by someone who does not know fear. Cheering, Siegfried realizes that he will be the savior and follows the bird, which shows him the way to Brunnhilde. Wotan moved to the Valkyrie rock to question Erda. She sees through him and refuses to help Wotan, but he forces her to prophesy his fate. Erda announces that the power of the gods will end soon, and that she and her Norns cannot change anything about it either. Wotan is tired and decides to give the power to Siegfried and waits for him at the rock. The clash ends unhappily for Wotan. Siegfried treats him, the stranger, without respect, and Wotan decides to get in his way. He announces to smash Siegfried's sword with his spear, once more, like he once did with the sword Notum. Siegfried believes to recognize the murderer of his father in the Wanderer, and smashes Wotan's spear with his sword. With this, Wotan loses everything and he must let Siegfried pass to Brunnhilde. The way is clear for Siegfried, who fearlessly enters the fire. Siegfried safely reaches the rock where Brunnhilde sleeps. He sees a sleeping person in full armor. When he removes the armor, he sees a woman for the first time in his life. Now he has learned to fear, and an overpowering feeling takes possession of him. He takes courage and kisses her to awaken her. Brunnhilde wakes up and welcomes the day. She sees her awakener and recognizes in him Siegfried, whom she once protected and always loved. Brunnhilde is also pleased to see her horse Grane. When Siegfried besets her, she realizes with horror that without armor, sword and helmet she is no longer divine and thus defenseless. Never before has a man dared to approach her. Now she is a mortal woman and asks Siegfried to keep her virginity. In the arms of Siegfried she is overwhelmed by the human passion of love. Siegfried urges her to unite and misses the last opportunity to become knowing.
www.operinside.com. All about operas. Learn more about this great opera, with interesting facts and great YouTube videos. Visit us.